All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, it's time for the semifinals in the college football playoff, and the remaining quartet are part of that fraternity that is the blue bloods of the sport. We've got Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State. And each of those schools alone, when it comes to football, are a part of the fabric that is college football. And one of these blue bloods will add to that as they're going to be crowned national champions. But first, we've got to get from 4 to 2. And that means it's semifinals time here in the playoff. Now, I want to get things started with the first semifinal that's going to take place on Thursday. You've got the 7 seeded Fighting Irish out of Notre Dame taking on the 6 seeded Penn State Nittany Lions in the Orange Bowl. And I'll tell you like this game for me, and I said it before, it should be in either Happy Valley or South Bend. Can you just imagine the cold and the elements, okay, of Western PA or Indiana coming into play for this contest right now? But that's not going to be the case, as this contest is going to take place in Miami in the Orange Bowl. Now, unlike in the regular season, in this playoff so far, Penn State has gotten off to fast starts in both of their contests as they put both SMU and Boise State in chase mode very quickly. Notre Dame's defense, they didn't have to face quarterback Carson Beck when they beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, but now they're going to have to deal with Penn State quarterback Drew Aller. And this Fighting Irish defense, which was eighth in the nation, are they going to be able to slow him and this Penn State offense down? The big key for me when I'm thinking about Notre Dame's defense going up against Penn State's offense, it's Penn State tight end Tyler Warren, because he commands so much attention. And I think Xavier Watts, for starters, he's going to have to be committed to Tyler Warren throughout this entire game. And of course, it's going to open things up in that passing game and for this offense in general at Penn State. I mean, it's one of those where the Nittany Lions, they love to run the football. And it's all about thunder and lightning with Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. So for Notre Dame defensive coordinator Al Golden, of course, who once upon a time was a tight end at Penn State, he's going to have his hands full trying to slow down this Penn State offense. I think the key for Notre Dame, they've got to keep Penn State's offense off of their rhythm. They've got to win first and second down, keep Penn State in second and long and third and long situations, which is going to give that opportunity for this defense to go out there and put pressure on. We saw what Notre Dame's defense could do against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. This time around, it's not Gunnar Stockton, it's Drew Aller, a guy who's more experienced, a guy who's more seasoned at the quarterback position. And guess what? He's going to go out there. He's going to try to get that ball out a little bit quicker. He has the players around him at the skill positions to get it done. Defensively for Penn State, the health of Abdul Carter. Of course, he had that shoulder injury early on in the Fiesta Bowl against Boise State, but all signs, and it sounds like James Franklin is basically talking like Abdul Carter is going to be good to go in this one. Linebacker Kobe King and this Penn State defense, can they get to this Notre Dame run game with Jeremiah Love, who himself went out of the Sugar Bowl with a knee injury, and of course, quarterback Riley Leonard. For me, we know Penn State has a 2-day advantage on this one. The Sugar Bowl was pushed back one day. Penn State had already played on New Year's Eve. Notre Dame had to wait to January 2nd to play in the Sugar Bowl for the unfortunate incidents that happened, due to the unfortunate incidents that happened in New Orleans. So Penn State has a 2-day advantage. They've had the opportunity to sit down and watch Notre Dame live, get a feel for what they're doing uh, as a team as they get ready for this contest. I think right here, when you have two teams that are well coached, Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame, and of course James Franklin for Penn State, it's going to come down to which team is going to blink. I think this is going to be an old school game. with field position and defenses and the special teams. I think it might start off slow as both of these teams are looking to get a feel for one another. But I think Penn State is going to find a way to put Notre Dame in an uncomfortable spot. And that uncomfortable spot is going to be chase mode. And I'm going to take the Nittany Lions to knock off the Fighting Irish and get to the national championship game. I'm going with Penn State in this one by the score of 27-17. And the other semifinal on Friday night, we've got the eighth ranked Ohio State Buckeyes traveling to Arlington to take on the Texas Longhorns. And of course, Ohio State, they're going into Texas's backyard for this one, but the Buckeyes are not going to be swayed. Ohio State comes into this contest favored by 5.5 points. We've seen how the Buckeyes have been playing, and it's very interesting because both of these teams are clearly in the semis, but they have a different feel attached to them. We've seen Ohio State come out in this college football playoff like gangbusters. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders right now, while Texas continues to be a mystery. Make no mistake about it, the atmosphere at the Cotton Bowl on Friday night is going to be electric. There's going to be plenty of burnt orange in the stands, but make no mistake about it, the Scarlet and Gray know how to travel as well. So for Ohio State, they want to keep the momentum going. And what we've seen from this Ohio State team in 2 games in the playoffs so far, their offense has gotten off to a fast start. Their defense has gotten off to a fast start. And so far in the 2 games that the Buckeyes have won, okay, they've been in fifth gear from the word go, while it almost looks like their opponents are in first gear. And I'm talking about Tennessee and Oregon, respectively. You look at Will Howard, who has put the frustrations of that Michigan game to end the regular season behind him. Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver. If this kid was ready for the NFL, or eligible rather for the NFL draft, because I feel he's ready, okay, we're talking about a top 5 pick. That's how talented that he is. And of course, the other veteran wide receiver of Mecca Egbuga. 2 phenomenal running backs for the Buckeyes and Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins. And we've seen this number one defense for Ohio State flex their muscles. They were on point in that game against Michigan. It just was their offense against that good Michigan defense. But we've seen Ohio State's defense come out with an edge, okay, in this playoff, first against Tennessee and then against Oregon. And I mean, you got a lot of first and second and third rounders on that side of the ball for Ryan Day. You think about it, Cody Simons, Sonny Styles, and Jack Sawyer up in that front seven, and then the phenomenal Alabama transfer and Caleb Downs at safety. As the Buckeyes can get at you at every single level of their defense. Now, we saw Texas escape Arizona State. Okay. And what do they have up their sleeve against Ohio State? First and foremost, I think quarterback Quinn Ewers has to play much better than he has been recently. 5 interceptions for Texas in the last 4 games. If Quinn Ewers goes out there and has 1 turnover in this contest against Ohio State, it is not going to bode well for Texas. And I'll tell you like this, if he gets off to a slow start, I guarantee you the Longhorn faithful, some of them are going to be clamoring for the freshman in Arch Manning. I think it's going to be important for Texas to establish their run game with Quay Weisner and Jadon Blue. You've got talent at wide receiver for the Longhorns with Matthew Golden, Silas Bolden, and Isaiah Bond. The thing is this, Texas A has to get their run game going. B, when they do pass the ball, and they are going to have chances against this Ohio State defense, they've got to make those big plays happen. You probably only get like 5 or 6 really good opportunities to get big chunk plays in a game. I think Texas needs to hit on at least 4 of those chances if they want to go out there and get the win. So if you're Texas defensively, you started off hot against Arizona State running back Cam Scatterbo in the Fiesta Bowl, and then Cam Scatterbo wore them down. Now, if you're Texas defensively, you've got to try to deal with both Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins. So basically, Ohio State is going to try to keep a fresh back out there. And I guarantee you that Ryan Day and his coaching staff have gone over that Arizona State game, and they want to see how they can get both of their backs involved against this Texas defense. Now, don't get me wrong, the Longhorns are no slouches on the defensive side of the ball. You got a lot of talent there. You look at Anthony Hill at linebacker. Colin Simmons, as a freshman, is a tremendous edge rusher. If this kid was eligible for the draft right now, we'd be talking about him as a first or second round pick. That's how much talent he has. You got Jade Barron and Michael Taft in that secondary. And I think it's going to be important for this Texas defense to tackle. Okay, that is a big emphasis I think that the Longhorns need to have in this game. You got Sark going up against Ryan Day. We've seen Ohio State start fast in this playoff. We've seen Texas start fast. It has started in the SEC championship game, and then, of course, in both of their playoff games, and then they cooled off. Texas cannot afford to cool off in this game. They have to keep it in fifth gear from the word go if they're going to go out there and stop the Buckeyes. Ohio State comes into this game favored by 5.5 points. And I'll tell you like this, nobody in the nation is playing better than Ohio State right now. I'm going to take the Buckeyes by 2 touchdowns in this one. Okay. I think they get at Texas early, and I think they take that crowd out of the game and put the Longhorns in chase mode. I'm going to go with the Buckeyes in this one by the score of 34-20. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.